And here we have split guard. Okay? So, guys, notice the universal grip I'm using. Even though we're doing today, we try to alternate gi, no gi. I'm using universal grip rather than gripping this. This takes a little bit longer time. I want to make sure that I keep his wrist and keep him stretched out, misaligned. And let's go over, there's a lot of options you have. Usually your opponent will determine which submission he gets hit with. So, when I have Enrique in split guard here, all right? So, he cannot move to his right because as he does, it actually hurts more. So he's going to be moving to his left, all right? So, from here, he gives me triangle. If he moves a little bit further away, he's giving me omoplata. And if he moves really far away, we're going for an inverted armbar. Okay? So, depending how far he turns his body away, will decide what I'm going to hit him with. You know, moving your hips. Enrique just coined it. What do you call it? Air shrimp? Air shrimp. I like flying shrimp better. So when you're on top, and we're going to go over some scenarios when you're on top, whether it's in half guard, top of half guard, top of cross side, or top of mount, you could try to maintain that position. But at some point, you start to lose it, and the guy is going to reverse you. So you can either just be reversed like a sack of potatoes, boom, and you're down, and now he's on top. Or you can start to prepare for your landing, just like gymnasts, 10-point landing, or what are they? Stick it. So you can prepare for your landing as you go and as you fly. All right, it doesn't take that long. It's very short, split second, but you have to start to prepare for it. And the way I usually prepare for it is moving my hips away. So when I do land, it's not in the position that he initially intended me to land in. It's in a position where my hips are further away, which allows me to go straight into an offensive mode, even though I just got reversed. Okay? So we're going to start with some scenarios, and guys, just feel free to add your own. Just pay attention to my hip movement. As I'm flying, as I'm being reversed, that's the time to do it. Okay? Move your hips further away. Let's go. What do we got to do for let's do half guard. So I'm in half guard. I'm being reversed, guys. At this point, I would still try to stop him. I feel pretty good about this. At some point, if he actually were able to scoop up my arm. So now I'm gonna go. Okay? This is where I'm happy to land. If I just do this, yeah, I'm not glad to be landing here. Okay? So that shrimp while you're midair. Flying shrimp?
Air shrimp.
Air shrimp. Air shrimp. Let's put our line of sneakers out there. Air shrimp. Do we have any designers out there, guys? Start getting ready on air shrimp apparel. So the air shrimp, guys, is something that's very simple, but it's a dramatical difference between getting it done and not getting it done. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, when you have a great grip, great body positioning, the legs, all the three elements we've been talking about are present for you. They can be very easily taken away basically by him going around. And he will do that. If he is a skilled opponent, he will do that. So when you get a great grip and everything is present, use it. Don't try to hedge your bets. Okay? You have something, use it. If you have gotten something good, use it. If you don't, it will be taken away from you. Let's look at it again. So I'm pushing Enrique, snapping down. This is where I'm going to use it. I'm going to drive it, and then I'm going to fold. All right? He's choked. This is done. All right? Even if, I'm going to let you, are you warmed up? Are you going to try to leap? Try to leap, okay? So I have a good, I'm going down. Go. So this is a pretty athletic guy that left, but because all the elements were there, I could follow him. Because I initiated the sequence on my terms, guys. Do not, if you're an advanced guy, do not underestimate the value of a technique or sequence that you initiate on your terms rather than it being imposed by the other guy. So let's look at Udigatami first. What I want to do is, anytime the guy's elbow just comes out a little bit, this is not enough. You don't have to flare it out that much. So anytime I can get my hand through, I can have Udigatami. Upside down arm lock. So if the guy keeps his elbows in, all you need to do is just snap his head down. You need to off balance him a little bit. I have the attack right now, okay? So let's look at a couple of very critical factors first. Guys, sit up. If I'm laying back here, that arm is gonna slip right out, okay? So I have to sit up. I wanna keep my head as close as possible, okay? Now, ideally, right now, I have only 1 foot on the hip, but I need to have at least 1 foot on the hip. The single biggest mistake is when people, if you have a butterfly guard, I can sweep him, but the Udigatami does not have a good enough bite, okay? So what I'm trying to get to is this. This is what I'm trying to get to a finish. Tap, okay? So that's where we're trying to go, but we're gonna do sort of what happens, how you can make a mistake, and how he will counter that mistake, all right? So again, guys, if you have a butterfly guard, and no matter how much pressure I put on Enrique's arm, that arm is not going to be in danger. I can sweep him, okay? That's going to be your best bet. But as far as putting him in danger, if my feet are not on the hips, that's going to be somewhat limited. Second thing I want to do is I want to try to get perpendicular to him as much as possible, as quickly as possible, all right? If I'm lined up with Enrique, it's easy for him to, we can sit here and do this all day.
I'm swimming.
He's swimming. Today, what we're going to talk about is perpendicular guard. Again, I'm not quite sure, I guess the best form to describe it is it's a form of quasi-closed guard. It's actually open. I will close my guard occasionally when I have to. If I'm having a hard time tangling the guy up from my open guard and putting him into split guard, which was covered in the last 2 episodes, at some point I will close my guard. But as soon as I close my guard, maybe catch my breath if I'm gassed, and then I go to tower. Right away, I start to go perpendicular. All right? Why are we doing this? So let's explain this. So Enrique is trying to pass my guard, and let's suppose, we've been doing this for a while. I'm trying to get him engaged, get him into split guard, and I will close my guard. All right? Now, as soon as I get here, guys, I'm making sure that I can control his posture. With the gi, it's pretty easy. As soon as I get here, I put my thumb in, 4 fingers out behind the skull. With no gi, I'm just going to use my hand behind his back, the back of his skull. Okay? So it's very little adjustment. Gi, no gi, doesn't matter. Right? The rest of the technique is the same. So as soon as I close my guard and as soon as I catch my breath, we're going at it for a while, I'm getting tired of defending the guard pass. I'm going to go under his leg and keep his posture broken, and I'm going to try to go perpendicular. What I'm trying to do, guys, is to start a thread of a sweep. All right? So let's look at it again from the other side. So I close my guard, trying to swim in. You know, he's keeping his arm retracted, so I really can't get. If his arm is, if I can do this and put him in split guard, I will. But this time I couldn't. And I'm looking for a sweep. Okay? Now, he has a couple options. All right? Believe it or not, the best one is to be swept. I will explain this, why it's the best one. So, it's a bad sweep because he not only gets swept, but he also winds up mounted. But after you go through this class, you will realize that his other options are actually worse than getting swept. In this case, I will opt for a five-finger guillotine as opposed to a loop choke. And that preference I've had for, man, it's got to be 10 years by now. All right? So again, he's standing. So I'm going to go down nice and easy. All right? Normally, I'd make him drive. Normally, I'd make him force it. All right? But so as I'm going down, guys, what I want to do is, look, my body positioning doesn't even look like a guillotine. Okay? My legs, he's just effectively past the legs. So I can even cross my legs or just kind of hang up. Guys, ideally, I want to use my head to push. And now, all right. We're going to do it again, because I want you guys. Give me Miguel. I'm going to show you an arm lock that I teach very frequently. It is not very practical, and I would strongly discourage people from using it, particularly in an MMA scenario. But what it does is it's a perfect teaching tool to understand sort of the four big principles of arm locking. Okay, that's angle, fulcrum, grip, and follows. Okay. So let's look at it. So when I'm on top cross-eyed, guys, maybe this is the best way. Yeah, this is the best way. All right? So guys, I'm top of cross-eyed, and I'm starting to isolate Enrique's arm. And it's pretty easy, even if he has a good frame, to isolate that arm. So I sit out, start, and then I replace. Okay? Another time, turn this way for a second. Another good time to do this is, say, even if he has set up good frame, is to attack baseball bat choke, and he starts to defend, and now his right arm is isolated. All right? So, what we're going to do, I'm controlling his body. I'm going to slide my left knee above his head. I don't want to be too close. I don't want to be under his shoulder. I want to have almost a foot, 10, 15 centimeters for our European viewers of space. All right? So, usually the guy feels zero danger right here. He understands that he cannot get a good frame because his arm is isolated. However, he does not feel danger. All right? So, when I isolate the arm, what I'm going to do is now post on his shoulder. I just want to keep him down briefly. I windshield wiper my legs. And then I bring my right foot on top of his torso. So I'm going to lighten up a little bit on it. All right, so this is what it looks like. Can you sit up? So this is what it looks like, guys. All right, so watch. I'm using an underarm armpit grip, which is very, very important. It's one of my favorite grips, both arm bars and knee bars. Okay? Now, the fulcrum is not my hips. The fulcrum is my inner thigh. Okay, so already covered 2 topics, which is the grip. There's 3 basic grips for arm locking. And we also covered sort of the fulcrum, so not the traditional fulcrum of your hips, but your inner thigh. We're going to go over another arm lock where your fulcrum is actually going to be your shin. Yes, shin. An angle. Look at the angle, guys. This looks like a pretty bad angle. Look, man, no hands. All right? When we learn bottom of cross side escapes, most people learn the typical one where, you know, the arm closer to the head is under the head and the other one is on the opposite side. So this is the one we learn most often. So this is sort of the one that most people drill and probably most people are most comfortable and familiar with. I'm personally, a lot, I hope, how are things in Israel? This is, if I'm on top, this is the one I will use being on top. This is much harder to escape. So, anytime you escape from bottom of cross side, you have to string a few things together. It's going to be difficult to just kind of bump and you're out and arm locking the guy. No, this is a bad position. There's a reason for it. So, you have to string a couple of things together. So, a lot of times, I'm a fan of, you're in a bad position, so you have to put yourself at risk. You're already at risk to begin with, all right? So usually I can't get a good frame over his head. So a lot of times, yeah. So what I'm doing is I know where I can't get my leg in. If I arch and bring it in, it's still not coming in, okay? So my framing is not all that worthwhile. So what I'll do is I'll put my forearm diagonally across his face, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to arch hard, all right? And I know that he's going to try to adjust. So I have to read his reaction. I will try to usually bring myself down a little bit, and as he's trying to regain his position, he will usually switch, and I get a chance to create the traditional frame that you guys have, okay? So look, this is a very important movement, guys. You want to sort of arch, and as you arch, you move your arm at the same time. So you want to synchronize your upward hip movement with the movement of your arms because you want to try to push his head as far away as possible. It's only a temporary solution. It's not like that's going to get him off you, but it will make him move. And that's all you need. Is you need him to move. So you now, as he's moving, you make your own adjustments. So again, if I'm here, I'm going to bump. And sometimes I'm going to go straight in. I'm attacking the arm, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But anytime if I can do this, I'm going straight into a defensive mode. Actually, not defensive. I already was defensive. I'm skipping neutral. Oh, that's okay. Hold on to my belt and hold on to me. So I'm skipping defensive. So I'm going defensive. I literally just pass through neutral. I'm going immediately into an offensive mode. So that we feed the same way. I will grab the pants if I can. And I just bring my head. It's a bit stronger variation, and it's almost impossible for him to slip his head. So this is the variation. I've literally the first time I did it is at least 10 years ago, and literally the first time I hit it, I was like, I'm not quite sure what I did there, but the guy went out. So I know it works. Guys, you gotta, if you're training, you gotta be mindful of your training partners. So we're gonna go over that in a second. So again, I'm using my head. So see how he's thrashing about? I'm using my head to control him. I like it for a variety of reasons. Hard for him to slip the head because the floor is in the way. I like it because if he does escape, I'm still on top cross side. I like it because guys don't expect you to move that way. But let's talk about a little bit about how do you deal with if your training partners goes out.
Mike, you're in.
No, you're not gonna go out. Don't worry.